Hi everyone, FB here to bring you a cast of the BA Championship F1 Spanish GP. This event is hosted by the Black Angel team, and every race will take place on the week after the real Formula 1 race, starting at 9:30 PM CEST. The races will last for about 1 hour, and pit stops will be necessary to refill your fuel during the race. If you want to participate in the races, then you'll have to download the Stadium F1 title pack and simply get on the server before the race starts. And for this race there will be 50 laps, meaning 200 checkpoints in total. And again, it will take about 1 hour. We got Morris89 driving this week as well. Last week he took second place in a very, not last week, but in last race he took second place behind Shumi. They had a very close battle, and that might be the case this time as well. And who else do we have? We also got El Werma, who I believe took third place. So he was also on the podium, also participating this time. Edster usually does pretty well. Had a late penalty the last race, which cost him a lot. I think it cost him also a podium position, so see if you can avoid that this time. And yeah, that's gonna be the end of the warm-up, so we are starting, and I suppose we could follow Shumi, the previous winner, or the most recent winner of the race. There is also a toll standing, but kind of gave up keeping score of that, or keeping track of the scores. But anyways, we are live into the first lap, following Shumi. And you can see the widget to the lower right. Once that mark goes to the right, then the players will have to enter the pit stop to refill the fuel. Also, if they go outside of the track or crash into the wall or something like that, then they will get a penalty, which means that they have to enter the pit stop to refill the fuel. So that's something you want to avoid as much as possible. We see Edster going up in the lead for a moment, but Shumi with better speed is going to pass him and takes over the lead. We also got Okin going up in the lead here, and I don't think he's participated before. So it's a newcomer. Seems to know the map pretty well though. Great couple of turns there from Shumi. We'll take over the lead once again, and that's going to be the first lap. So I guess one lap takes about 1 minute or so, maybe a bit more than that. So Shumi in the lead. We got Morris89 at second place. So this is very familiar. Reminds me of the previous race. And again, these races are always hosted the week, well, I guess it's not the week after the actual race, it's like a couple of days after it takes place, so usually on Wednesdays, but sometimes on other days as well. It's kind of random. You have to check the website to see the actual schedule, but the time is always the same though, 9:30 PM. You see Shumi in the lead, Edster goes up to second. And then Morris89 will pass Okin, who is a player from France. So that's the top four. Let's see who else we have. El Wermo, a bit further behind at fifth as we enter another lap. 4 checkpoints per lap. So you see to the right that they have crossed 10 checkpoints, and in total there will be 200. Oh, and that was a crash from Shumi. Shumi will crash, and so will Okin. Okin actually seems to have disconnected potentially. That is very bad luck if that is the case. Shumi is now very, very far behind the rest. Wow, he lost a lot with that. Had to respawn, so that's a really bad start for Shumi here. I'm not sure if he can come back from this, because from what I understand, this map is not as difficult as some of the other maps. It seems to have a bit wider and more open corners with not as many vicious curbs to get caught on. So yeah, I don't know if Shumi can come back from this. It's gonna be very tough for sure. Instead we have Edster now in the lead. Drives with this custom skin as well. I suppose that is like an old Formula 1 car, that kind of design. And then we got Marius 89 at second place at the moment. About maybe half a second behind Edster, and yeah, it looks like Oaken actually disconnected. I mean, maybe he also quit, it's hard for me to say, but since his car is still there, it kind of makes me think that he had a very unfortunate disconnect. Started off so well, so that's really unfortunate to see. El Wormo will sneak up and pass Marius 89, goes up to second place. But it's still pretty close here between the top three. Then Chuck for Black Angel team is at fourth place. Oh, and I think Marius 89 got a no drift there. And then El Wormo lost a lot of speed. Chuck can go up to second place as a consequence. Still behind Edster. But it's, oh, and another no drift here from Marius. El Wormo will pass him. So yeah, on these tracks, no drifts are pretty common, I think. I think if you're good at doing the neo drift, then you definitely have an advantage on these kind of tracks, because you often don't have that much space to actually start up a drift. So that's definitely a good thing to know. What else do we have? We got Sopra at 5th place. Often participates in these races. Losco is at 6th, and you see here that he has got a penalty, so he drove outside of the road, and so he will have to visit the pit stop. And you see that the screen turns into black, so it's gonna gradually turn into black until you don't see anything. So it's really important that he reaches that pit stop, otherwise we'll have to respawn, which is of course gonna cost him a lot of time. You see Shumi passing him there. So we'll see, can Losco actually get to the pit stop? Doesn't look like it. It's turning black now, and I believe he's not seeing anything, unless it's bugged. I think it has bugged actually, so sometimes the plugin bugs like this for some reason. So I guess Losco never had that penalty, not sure. Anyways, El Wormo has now taken over the lead. Edster has dropped down to 3rd. Marius, no wait, he's at 4th place actually. Marius 89 has passed him, even though it's not been updated yet, since there's only 4 checkpoints on the track. And we also don't see the, okay, there we go. Now I see the plugin, or the widget rather. So El Wormo will visit the pit stop pretty soon. So the way the pit stop works is that you enter it, and then you have to stand still for 7 seconds, and you see an animation which shows you filling up the gas tank. And you can skip the animation, but it's kind of like a rule that you need to wait the full 7 seconds. So El Wormo, I guess, might be driving 2 more laps or so before entering it. And we see that Chuck has a lot more speed over the stretch and can now go up to 1st place. Chuck has never won the race this season. I think he's participated in every single race though. So we'll see if this will be his chance. I would say that Shumi was probably the favorite going into this race, followed by Marius 89, but both of them has not really had a great start, especially Shumi, who did that early mistake. I believe Marius 89 is not that practiced on this track. He wrote that at least before the race started, and he is at 3rd place. See how far behind he is, as we get the message that he will have to visit the pit stop. He is 4 seconds behind El Wormo right now. So El Wormo will not enter the pit stop now. He feels confident that he got enough visibility to drive through another lap. Let's see if anyone will actually visit the pit stop. Yes, Marius 89 will visit it. So yeah, so they will sometimes be on different like schedules, which could play a factor in the end, depending on when the race ends. So this could be a smart strategy from Marius 89, but it's impossible for me to tell if it's gonna work out or not. And of course, if they get a penalty, then the schedule will be completely different. So we'll see if anyone else entered it. I think Edster might have done it as well. Yeah, and here's Losco. Okay, Losco will also enter it. Shumi. going into it. Starts driving now. We'll see who else we have driving. MC Robert, the organizer, also entering the pit stop. So does Stereo Gang, who actually respawns here. Interesting. Then we got Lars at 10th place with a penalty entering the next lap. Goes for that wall hit. Next player is Torvald, playing for the first time, I think. At 11th place. Kiera von Black at 12th. We got Mishwa at 13th. And then the last player in the race, and also the last player to join the server, is Cousin, who enters the pit stop now. He just downloaded the Stadium F1 title pack before the race started. We actually waited for him for a couple of minutes. Alright, so let's go back to the top. It is Chuck in the lead, ahead of El Wermo with about half a second, and then Morris89 is at third, but he is now 5.5 seconds behind Chuck and El Wermo. So we have two players with quite the lead over the rest of the players. So we'll see if it's gonna be a battle between Chuck and El Wermo for first place this time. Edster at 4th place, gonna catch up a lot to Marius. Goes outside of the track a bit. It's always a bit... oh, and Edster went out with a no drift. I was gonna say, it's always a bit risky to drive over these curves. These red and white obstacles. Sometimes you will get a slowdown from them. So Edster is gonna lose a bit of time on Marius, but it seems like he built up a lot of speed over the stretch. And that's also the thing about these tracks, that there's a lot of these long stretches, and it's very, very important that you enter them with good speed, because it's gonna gain you a lot of time. So it's pretty close here between Morris89 and Edster for 3rd place. Morris especially started off this season really good. I think he won the 3 first before Shumi dethroned him last time. Good turn there from Edster. Not quite enough to pass Morris89 though, but maybe now. Yes. Tiny bit more speed than Morris89, and Edster is back up on the podium, and we can see Chuck not that far ahead now, so he must have made a mistake, and that means that El Wermo is alone in the top now. He's gonna be 3.5 seconds ahead of Chuck. So only got one player in the top now. It's El Wermo, and Chuck will have to focus on defending the 2nd place. Got both Edster and Morris89 now, not far behind whatsoever. Let's see how far behind Sopra is. Ooh, he has entered the pit stop now. I wonder if he maybe got a penalty. I think so. That's probably the case. Losco will almost pass him. Where is Shumi? Still very, very far behind. Yeah, disaster. Oh, talking about the disaster, and Shumi is gonna retire. He gives up. Yeah, that was an awful start for Shumi, and tried to continue playing, but felt like there was no point since he couldn't fight for those podium positions. So he writes in the chat as well, what a disappointment. And I suppose I could agree with that. It's never fun when you drop down so early on as well. I definitely experienced that myself. So yeah, Shumi is out of the picture. Will go down in the rankings here. Everyone will gain a position. And it's El Wermo in the lead. We have passed 57 checkpoints out of 200. Still a long way to go. We see that Morris89 set a fast time, 103.37. Actually, I should... there we go. I could look at the Deadmania record here. So the fastest time is by Lars, but I think that is not correct. I think Edster got the fastest time, 102.40. It's not a bad time there from Morris89. El Wermo will enter another lap now. 60 checkpoints. Schuck has also entered the next lap at 2nd place and Edster at 3rd. Shortly followed by Morris89 at 4th place. And even if Morris89 wouldn't finish this race, he would still be the current leader in the total standings. But as I said before, I'm not keeping track of those scores anymore. I think they are listed on the website probably, and maybe I'll have it up on occasion, but yeah, it's just too much work to keep track of everyone's scores. I already do that for my own race, and I think that is enough, because that is a bit of a pain. So, but yeah, it's still, I think, 4 players here that could potentially win. As we see that they will soon enter the pit stops, and of course El Wermo will enter one more lap, or go through one more lap before he enters the pit stop as well. So it's going to be interesting to see that, if he will be the leader once the others have gone through the pit stop as well. But still a couple of more laps before that's going to happen. Following Morris89 here for a good overview. These 3 players are really close to each other. See if Sopra has gone any closer. No, he's not. So it's yeah, this is definitely the main focus. Edster, Schuck and Morris89 trying to catch up to El Wermo, who got a lead of 3 seconds 2300. So they have gotten a bit closer to him.
Return immediately to the pits.
And this is definitely not in the bag for El Wermo. A lot can still happen. And as I said, if you go outside of the track, which is very, I mean, that can happen if you get a no drift or something like that, and that can definitely happen. As we see Edster now entering the pit stop 1 lap earlier than Schuck and Morris89. That's interesting. And of course, El Wermo has not done it yet, but yeah, Edster, interesting. I don't know if that was intentional or not. It could be. Could also be a mistake. As we see that the fuel is now empty for Morris89. That means that the screen will turn black, but should have enough time to enter the pit stop. Or maybe not. Maybe that's what Edster realized, that he wouldn't have enough time to do so. We'll see. Soon will be pitch black here for Morris89. Oh, whoa, 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 and he's gonna get a penalty, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. Actually, is that a good strategy?
Enters the pits for a stop and go.
I guess that is kind of a good strategy, actually, because you have to enter the pit stop anyway, so you might as well just get it now so you get the visibility. So that, if that was intentional by Morris89, that was pretty smart. So he's gonna enter it now. And gonna take about 7 seconds. Of course, El Wermo not entering it yet. Also, Schuck entered it just ahead of Morris89. Here comes Edster over the stretch. Will it be enough to pass Morris89? Yes, it will, but not enough to pass Schuck, who is still at 2nd place. Alright, so El Wermo is now gonna enter the pit stop as well. So here's the part where... oh, and El Wermo's gonna do the same. I don't know if... yeah, that could be actually intentional.
Track is not allowed.
That's kind of funny.
The pits for a stop and go.
Of course, it is also kind of quite easy that you will go too wide through that turn, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty smart. Alright, so El Wermo entering the pit stop now. Let's see if he's gonna lose his 1st place or not. Here comes Schuck. Entering the stretch now. Doesn't look like it's gonna be enough. No. El Wermo will still be in front. And let's see with how many seconds. I guess we'll have to wait until they reach the next checkpoint. It seems like he is a bit closer. Yeah, it's 2 seconds now. So El Wermo losing 1 second. Here's Edster. Took that decision to enter the pit stop 1 lap earlier. And here is Marius89 at 4th place. Goes outside of the road. Did not lose his speed though. Then we got Sopra at 5th. No, actually not that far behind. We see that Lars and Cousin is in front of him, but they are on. They are not on the same lap. Alright, here's Losko at 6th place. Seems to be quite far behind Sopra. Lars is at 7th, so maybe he's like 1 lap behind. Yeah, I think so. Lars is 1 lap behind. Then we got Torvald at 8th. Kier from Black at 9th. Stereo Gang just behind Kier from Black, so they have a close fight as well. MC Robert at 11th. 1 turn behind Kier from Black and Stereo Gang. Mishwa at 12th. Cousin at 13th place, and that is the last player. Oh, a huge crash from Cousin in the start of the next lap, but he is, well, he's at last place, so it doesn't really matter, I suppose. He's 1 checkpoint behind Mishwa. Alright, back to the top. El Wermo has crossed 87 checkpoints out of 200. Keeping that first place, as he has done for basically the whole race so far. With Edster now being at 2nd place. He's past Chuck and is ahead of him with quite a lot as well. So yeah, the gaps are growing a bit larger between these 3 players. No doubt about that. And Sopra, he is still quite far behind, yeah. Actually, maybe he made a mistake. Oh, now he made a mistake for sure. Whoa, that's gonna cost him a lot. And this is before the long stretch as well, so you can imagine how much time he will lose with that. Many seconds, and there's no chance in hell that Sopra will get on the podium this time, I think. No, it's gonna be between Chuck, Edster and Marius89. It looks like Chuck did pass Edster again. Back and forth between these 2. And well, that's gonna gain, or that's gonna be good for El Wermo, because he's now 4.5 seconds ahead. Nice and steady by El Wermo. That's often what will reward you the most, especially in these endurance races. Haven't seen any new local record, and other than Marius89, Mishwa and Cousin. I think Cousin though was the first time he saw the map when he joined the server. El Wermo about to overlap Stereo Gang, who is 3 or 4 laps behind at this time. That part that El Wermo just passed seems to be the hardest one. Just before entering the next lap. Jacques at 2nd place. Here is Edster at 3rd. Oh, and then Sopra has passed Marius89. What happened? What happened to Marius89? He must have got a penalty. That is the only explanation. So, oh, but then Sopra is down to 6. What is going on here? Did I saw wrong? I think that Marius89 was down to 5th place. Maybe that was just a bug. I don't know. But anyways, what is clear is that Marius89 seems to be quite far behind now. He is 1 checkpoint behind Chuck, so that is quite a lot considering there are 4 checkpoints on the whole track. And we see that Sopra has also left the server, so we are down to 12 players now. No, wait. Yeah, no, at 12 players now. As we see MC Robert getting a new local record, 105.46. But yeah, I wonder what happened to Marius89. Probably got a penalty. had to visit the pit stop. So he is at, well, he's now 2 checkpoints behind behind Chuck. Whoops. So yeah, not maybe gonna be a podium position for Morris A9 this week, which would be the first time, because otherwise he's been dominating. As we see Chuck entering the pit stop, Edster already entered it. And then El Wermo keeping that first place. Let's see how far ahead he is now. He's 2 checkpoints ahead of Edster. Of course, he hasn't entered a pit stop yet, so that explains why. But most likely will keep that first place. Yeah, not as close of a race this time around, it seems. I mean, we still got 90 more checkpoints to pass, so stuff can still happen. But right now it seems like El Wermo will take home the race. I think he might drive through one more lap before entering the pit stop. It is fairly close here between Chuck and Edster, as you can see. Edster has now actually gone up to 2nd place. So that is a bit interesting. But yeah, Morris A9 was with them and now no longer is. Oh, Chuck will drive outside of the road but did not get the penalty at least. I think he was a bit lucky there. I'm not sure actually what triggers getting the penalty. Like, is it a certain amount of like time that you are outside of the road? Or is it like a certain distance from the road? I'm not sure how it works exactly, but yeah, I think Chuck was very close to getting the penalty there. But he's still in the run for taking 2nd place, despite losing a bit of time here on Edster. That will allow Morris 89 to get a bit closer. Yeah, actually he's not that far behind. I thought he was even further behind. It's hard to keep track of this sometimes because I don't have like a good way of seeing like the times from all the players and how far behind they are and stuff like that. Like I can see when I cast my race. So yeah, still I guess a chance here for Morris A9 to get on the podium. Even though it will be an uphill battle, might have to rely on Edster or Chuck to get a penalty. Chuck again, very, very close to getting a penalty, I think. Had he gone a bit more to the right, I think that would have been it. So he is living on the edge. Alright, so El Wermo did enter the pit stop. See how far ahead he is now. Almost 12 seconds ahead of Edster, so yeah, that is a pretty comfortable lead. Not one he should lose. He can afford taking it pretty safe here as well. But again, if you get a penalty, then that will be very, very costly. Unless you get it on the last lap when you will enter the pit stop anyway, then it doesn't matter. Which we did saw an example of, or 2 examples of actually earlier. Alright, El Wermo crossing the finish line again. 125 checkpoints out of 200. Here is Edster at 2nd place. It didn't seem like he got much speed over the stretch, but still will be a couple of seconds ahead of Chuck, 3 seconds. Then we have Morris A9, who is 7 seconds behind. I guess that is compared to... Oh, it's compared to Chuck, yeah. So he's 7 seconds behind Chuck. Losco at 5th place. Still haven't entered the next lap. Enters the stretch now. Then we got Lars at 6th.
Angel team. The off.
Torval
Truck
has gotten
is
a
not
penalty
allowed. Enters
at
the pits
7th
for a
place.
Stop and go.
So that's gonna cost him. Most likely MC Robert will gain a position here, as he's getting overlapped by Chuck. Stereo Gang at 9th place. Got the same amount of checkpoints as MC Robert, so he might also pass Torval. Kira from Black at 10th, 1 checkpoint behind Stereo Gang. Mishwa at 11th, same amount of checkpoints as Kira from Black. And then Cousin at 12th place, entering the pit stop now. He is 1 checkpoint behind Mishwa. So yeah, it's pretty close there between, I'd say, well, Kira from Black, Mishwa, Stereo Gang, and MC Robert, maybe. Maybe not. And it seems like Torval actually stayed in front of MC Robert. Oh, he's not entered the pit stop yet, that's why. There might be some bug here that he maybe doesn't get it. Oh no, I think maybe he does. I don't know. I think like the plugin is a bit bugged sometimes. So it might say that he got a penalty now, but in reality he might not actually have it. We'll enter the pit stop now though. As we see El Wermo passing him. He will enter another lap. 135 checkpoints out of 200 now. Still with a very, very comfortable lead. See how far ahead he is now. Oh, 9 seconds. So he did lose 3 seconds actually. Might be feeling the pressure a bit from the others. Chuck at 3rd place still. Seems to be more or less the same distance up to Edster. Oh, Morrissey 9 with a penalty, perhaps. It's possible at least, unless it's another bug. It might be, I don't know. So we'll see, I guess, if he will enter the pit stop. But if that is the case, then I think it's safe to say that he will not gain any more positions. Might even lose one. Losco is only 1 checkpoint behind him. Alright, so Morrissey 9 did actually get a penalty, so that's gonna cost him a lot. We see that Edster is... No, he's still driving here. So is Chuck, so is El Wermo. Yeah, for some players... Okay, so Edster now getting the "your fuel is over" message. Chuck will also get it now. So those two will enter the pit stop. And El Wermo will get 2 more laps, I think. And I guess that's maybe why he... no, wait, that's not... No. He seems to have lost a couple of seconds, maybe crashed somewhere. But seems to have avoided getting the penalty at least, because that's gonna cost you a lot more seconds. Maybe even more than 10 seconds, so yeah. If he gets a penalty, then he could actually lose this 1st place. So his focus right now should be mainly on just avoiding driving outside of the road. 55 more checkpoints to go. 54 now. Gets the warning message. And this might be the last time he will enter the pit stop. Unless he gets a penalty.
Return immediately to the pits.
About to overlap Kira from Black. Ooh, Chuck has actually passed Edster now. Chuck back up to 1st place. And where is Edster? Oh wow, Edster is really far behind. Interesting. Well, not that far behind. No, wait. Oh, 6 seconds behind Chuck. What happened to Edster? Here comes Morris89 and will pass Edster. For a moment at least, Edster almost hitting that bollard. Very, very close to hitting it. And Morris89 will take advantage of the situation and he is up to 3rd place. Morris89 up on the podium. What happened to Edster? What happened to Edster? That is the question. Anyways, El Wermo entered the pit stop there. So Chuck will get closer to him, but as you know, he will lose a lot of time once he enters the pit stop again. But right now, well, he's 9 seconds behind right now anyway, so... yeah, this is still El Wermo's race to lose. And now we have a close fight between Morris89 and Edster for 3rd place. Let's follow this one for a while. Not that many more laps left to go in the race. Will soon be over. And Morris89 is back on the podium. Edster, of course, he was very, very close to getting on the podium last time as well, but was just behind El Wermo. So we'll see if he will take 4th place again. Doesn't really get any closer here in the start of the next lap. Morris89 still in front at 3rd place. Then we do have a big gap up to Chuck now. It's 5 seconds between him and Morris89. And then 8 seconds now between El Wermo and Chuck. So yeah, it seems like El Wermo is driving much safer now. Of course, realizes that he is in the lead. And does have a couple of seconds down to 2nd place. Oh, gets the no drift. Oh, and hits the curb as well. Will lose a bit of time here. This is gonna cost him a couple of seconds. Definitely, because we do have the long stretch. So Chuck gonna be much, much closer now. Will we see another exciting fight for 1st place? 160 checkpoints, 40 left to go. And Chuck is now 6 seconds behind, no, 4.5 seconds behind El Wermo. So he gained a lot with that mistake from El Wermo, who probably is feeling the pressure. Knows that he is on his way to win, as long as he can avoid getting any penalties. Can he do it? Ooh, almost went too wide there. But so far so good. Here is the tricky zigzag again. This time does it much better. As he enters yet another lap. See if Chuck gained on him anything. Yes, he did actually. He is now less than 4 seconds behind, I think. Yeah, 3 seconds and 38 hundredths. Chuck catching up in a very quick fashion to El Wermo. This could be a really exciting fight for 1st place. Morris89 still at 3rd place. And it seems to be the exact same time difference here between Morris89 and Edster. But yeah, we have 2 fights now. One for 1st place and one for 3rd place. Let's see if any of the other players are close to each other. Losko will get a penalty here at 5th place. Then we got Lars at 6th, not really close. Thorvald at 7th. Oh, MC Robert is close to Thorvald actually. 1 checkpoint behind him. Stereo Gang at 9th. Kier von Black at 10th. Mishva at 11th, also with a penalty. And then Kasin at 12th. Not that far behind Mishva, but still at the last place. Alright, but we gotta follow this battle for 1st place now between Chuck and El Wermo. Entering another lap, 171 checkpoints. 19 to go. Or 29 to go rather. Oh, and Mishwa has also left the server, so that means that Cousin will go up to 11th place. Oh, did Chuck lose his speed? I think he did from the curb. Drove over the curb there, and that's gonna cost him a bit. He is now over 4 seconds behind, but I think he will be even further behind since the checkpoint was pretty close to him. Ooh. Oh, and he gets the penalty! He will get the penalty! He might have been on low fuel though, so it doesn't matter. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to see that, but Chuck with the penalty and will not go into the pit stop. So this might be a bug again. He might actually have not gotten the penalty. So hard for me to say. But yeah, he seems to be a bit further behind though. 4.5 seconds now. It's looking like he might have been able to catch up to El Wormo, but I'm not so sure now. Don't have that many more checkpoints to pass. This should be El Wormo's race to win. And yeah, Chuck still driving here. Still not sure how this penalty system works, to be honest. It's a bit confusing to me because I don't know. I guess once you get it, you don't have to necessarily drive into the pit stop immediately. You can like drive through a couple of laps here, or at least one more lap before the screen starts to turn black. So I think that's might have been what Chuck did, but he will have to enter it now. So that's gonna mean that he will be far behind. Edster will also enter it now, and so will Morris A9. This is gonna be close now between these three players. Edster leaving it now, and here's Morris A9. This is really close now. Once again between these three players. They were this close early in the race, but then they kinda went away from each other a bit. And it wasn't as close, but now it's kind of like they are back to square one. Leaving, of course, El Wormo alone here in the top. See how far ahead he is. Chuck still haven't entered the same amount of checkpoints. Okay, he's gonna be... Oh. I think it was maybe behind with like 15 seconds or so. But yeah, El Wormo, because of that penalty from Chuck, will be ahead with even more. Will enter the pit stop now. I don't think he's gotten a single penalty, and of course that is key to success. I guess he got one though, but he got it like when he was going to enter the pit stop anyway, so it didn't matter. So he's gonna exit it now, and will still be far ahead of Chuck here. Actually, not that far ahead of him. So yeah, if the race ends like in this moment, then Chuck would be very close to passing El Wormo, but I think that was the last time El Wormo entered the pit stop. Yes, it was, so it's not gonna matter. And of course, Chuck, Edster, and Morris 89 all enter the pit stop at the same time, so that's not gonna play a factor either. Oh, as Morris 89 gets a bump from the curb, did not actually lose that much time. Somehow managed to keep most of his speed. But is at 4th place behind Edster and Chuck. See if he can get on the podium. Alright, so El Wormo with just a few laps left to go. Entering the stretch here. Crossing the finish line, 190 checkpoints, so we have 10 more checkpoints to go. I guess we got maybe 3 more laps left to go. They said there were 4 checkpoints per lap, but I guess that's not correct. But anyways, there are 200 checkpoints. Or maybe not actually. There might be a bit more, because I thought there would be 4 checkpoints per lap, but maybe that is not the case. Anyways, we'll see. So El Wormo should have just a few more laps. That much is clear, because we have been playing now for almost Actually, there might be actually like 10 more minutes left of the race. Could be wrong about that, but usually it takes like a bit over 1 hour. Anyways, we'll see. So El Wermo with 195 checkpoints now. Still not that far ahead of Chuck. Actually, I guess maybe Chuck will not enter the pit stop anymore, so this is close now. This is really close between Chuck and El Wermo. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by this actually. Maybe El Wermo lost a bit of time, or a lot of time, when I was not spectating him. It's really hard for me to keep track of this, by the way, so... Yeah, I'm bound to miss some key moments. But yeah, El Wermo is now only 1.5 seconds ahead of Chuck. So this is actually getting pretty exciting, and Edster is not that far behind a third, and neither is Maurice89. So we have these 4 players who've been in the top the whole race, still all with the chance to take first place. But the chances for Maurice89 to take first place are not that large. It's probably not gonna happen. Alright, so we are entering maybe the last lap. We have passed 200 checkpoints. That's what I thought would be the total amount, but I guess that was not the case. So maybe this is the last lap, maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see, but we see that Chuck is really close now to El Wermo. He is definitely gaining on him. Could maybe pass him. Oh, went a bit too wide, but that's okay. Didn't lose any time. Not any speed. But El Wermo keeping first place. If this is the last lap, then this is really exciting. I wish I knew. Oh. Alright, better turn from Chuck. Much more speed, and he will pass El Wermo. Chuck goes up to first place. Passing El Wermo here, but he comes back in the next turn. No, he will not. Chuck still in the lead. Here comes the zigzag. Is this the last turn or not? If so, then Chuck has passed El Wermo in the last lap. Let's find out. Is this the last lap or not? Chuck passing El Wermo. No, it is not. It is not the last lap. So, yeah, I don't know actually. This might go on for a while longer. I really wish that there was a lap counter, because that would make it much easier, to say the least. But yeah, Chuck has passed El Wermo, and I'm definitely sure that there aren't much laps left to go of this race. That much I can say at least. So this could be the last lap. Very likely could be. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, Chuck passing El Wermo. Where is... Oh, Maurice89 has passed Edster now. Has gone up to third place. Edster is far behind. Looks like he's just left the pit stop. Probably got a penalty again. Again, a late penalty here from Edster. Just like in the previous race as well. So Maurice89 will go up to third place. And Chuck with much more speed than El Wermo. Will this be the last lap? No, it will not. The race continues. The race continues. Maurice89 with a 10th local record, 103.28. Second time he improves his local record during the race. But yeah, I don't know how many more laps there will be. I am not sure. There could be 250 checkpoints. Yeah, I guess maybe. Yeah, I don't know. They told me though that there were 4 checkpoints per lap, and that there would be 200 or 50 laps, so that would mean 200 checkpoints. But maybe that was not the case. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was 5 checkpoints per lap. In that case, it would be 250 checkpoints. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, El Wermo will pass Chuck now, who enters the pit stop. And that is normal. Oh, El Wermo hitting the curbs a lot. Losing a lot of speed. Yeah, I think there might be actually 5 checkpoints per lap, so I guess I was misinformed. Wouldn't be the first time. So yeah, I guess that would mean that there would be 250 checkpoints, so we still have a couple of laps left to go. El Wermo back in the lead now, but after he enters the pit stop now, I don't think he will be in the lead.
Return immediately to the
Especially not
pits.
after that mistake he did just now, so... I think Schuck is still the one who is leading the race. Yeah, I guess the start-finish wasn't included. Anyways, here comes El Wermo entering the pit stop now, and let's follow Schuck to see if he will pass him. He should, if he had a clean lap. And yes, he will. He will actually be a couple of seconds in front even. And will Marius pass El Wermo? No, he will not. Or maybe. Yes, he will actually. So Marius A9 will go up to second place here. Just ahead of El Wermo, who was in the lead with 12 seconds at one point. 12 seconds, but El Wermo not able to control that lead and is now down to third place. Edster at 4th, he seems to be... let's see how many seconds he is behind. Actually, he's 2 checkpoints behind even, so it's not... Can't even say how far behind he is, but it's maybe like over 15 seconds or something like that. Oh, and El Wermo now back to second place. With a few seconds, but yeah, now this is Schuck's race to lose. He is 5 seconds ahead of El Wermo. And I guess 5.5 seconds ahead of Marius A9. And he has entered the pit stop for the last time, I believe. 225 checkpoints, 25 left to go. So that is 5 more laps left to go. Should be able to keep it together, but you never know. If you get a penalty or not. So now this is the most exciting thing to spectate. El Wermo versus Marius A9 for second place. As we see Losco gaining the 10th Dedimania record, 103.57. He is at 5th place. Actually, he's not that far behind Edster, but he is maybe having a penalty now, so... That means he's definitely not gonna catch up to Edster. Here's MC Robert entering the pit stop. Lars is in front of him at 6th, Torvald still at 7th. And MC Robert will lose 1 position, but might gain it back. No, actually not. And Stereo Gang at 9th, Kier von Black at 10th, and Cousin at 11th. 3 checkpoints behind Kier von Black now. Continues to be very, very close between these 2 players. Schuck seems to have extended his lead with half a second, 5 seconds ahead of El Wermo now. Going through the zigzag. Possibly the hardest part of the map. Alright, entering another lap now. 3 more laps left to go for Schuck. Don't think he's been on the podium so far in the season, so this is definitely a really good result for him. And a bit unexpected, to be honest. Initially I thought Schumi would win it, or maybe at least be in the top here. Then I also thought El Wermo and Marius A9 and also Edster would do well, which they also are doing. Maybe also Sopra, but he left. And Schuck continues to drive the fastest. 5 seconds, 3,800 ahead now. It's looking good, but it's still not that big of a lead. Great turn there from Marius. Overlapping Stereo Gang and getting very, very close to El Wermo now. I think El Wermo may not do that turn as well, because that's where Chuck passed him as well. Ooh, and a great zigzag part from Morris A9. Gonna pass El Wermo before the stretch. Up to second place now. Great comeback here from Morris A9. He was down to 4th place. I think he had a penalty at some point. But El Wermo strikes back, entering the next lap. And he's back to 2nd place as well. Chuck now 6 seconds ahead. Continues to extend his lead. And this is the 2nd to last lap, I believe. Only got one more after this. Ooh, and again, another great turn from Morris A9, or should I say a bad turn from El Wermo. Every single time he loses a bit of time here. So back and forth. Ooh, great speed again from Morris A9 just before the stretch, entering the next lap, the last lap of the race. Chuck has entered it already. Most likely will be the winner. Doesn't matter if he gets a penalty either. He will have to crash into the wall here and lose all his speed. That's the only way he's gonna lose the race. Gets a good start as well. Let's see if Morris A9 got a good start as well. Yes, he did. Still in front of El Wermo. This is the last lap of the Spanish GP in the BA Championship F1 season. The 5th race. And not many turns left to go now from Chuck. Decent speed, and this is actually perfect for Chuck. He gets the warning message now on his last lap. Alright, here comes the zigzag, the last obstacle for Chuck, and he will go through it. And the fingers crossed that this is actually the last lap now. Here comes Chuck, and he will use his horn, so I guess that means it is. And yes, he will take 1st place. Congratulations to Chuck, and Morris A9 will stay in front of El Wermo, who was in the lead for the majority of the race. 12 seconds at one point, but not able to keep it, and will go down to 3rd. Alright, here's Edster with a penalty, but it's not gonna matter. He will have enough time to cross the finish and take 4th place this time. And then we have Losco next, and it seems like a timer of about 5 minutes has started. Used to be 10, but maybe they changed it. So yeah, Losco is next, and he's gonna go for a shortcut. Doesn't matter, I guess. And yeah, it's gonna take 5th place here. Next up is Lars, and he is not on his last lap yet. In fact, he has 2 more laps left to go, and he will have to enter the pit stop as well. Will anyone pass him? MC Robert might have enough fuel to not enter the pit stop again, but he's still not. He's still far ahead of Lars though, so Lars will keep that 6th place as he enters the 2nd to last lap. Should have enough time to finish the race, but I don't think everyone will. Maybe MC Robert and Thorwell will finish as well, but then I'm not so sure about the others. Stereo Gang, Kier from Black, and Cousin. I think they will not have enough time to finish. But yeah, Cousin, he joined the server just before he started, and so and he downloaded the title pack as well just before he started. So this is the first time he saw the track, so no wonder he is at last place. Oh, hit that bollard. And Lars can pass him. Or overlap him rather. He's already in front. Hitting the curbs here, doesn't matter though. Can afford it. Got one more lap left to go with 1 minute 38 seconds left on the timer. So should be more than enough time for Lars to finish the race. But then, yeah, I don't know. Can MC Robert finish as well? Enters the stretch now. Yes, he should also have enough time. 20 seconds or so, so should be enough. But Thorvald, I'm not so sure about. This might actually be really close, because he will enter the last lap with about 1 minute left, and the times are usually like 1:03. No, I don't think this is gonna be enough. It's gonna be like a few seconds left here for Thorvald, so that's gonna be a bit annoying. Anyways, here's Lars driving through the last couple of turns. Together with Cousin, who is a few laps behind him. And that's gonna be the last turn for Lars, so he will take 6th place this time. And then we have the organizer himself, MC Robert, also with enough time to finish this time. Will take 7th. And only 13 seconds left on the clock. Here comes Thorvald, still with a couple of turns left. Will not have enough time. Yeah, usually the timer is like 10 minutes. I don't know why it got changed, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's gonna be the end of the race. To summarize it, Chuck took 1st place, Morris A9 took 2nd, and El Wermo took 3rd. That's it. Thanks for watching. See ya.